Hello, let's continue this horror visual novel game. I haven't played it for half a year, so I forgot a little bit what happened, but overall, the big moments and the story itself I remember. So I think it's going to be fine. If you haven't watched it, you can check previous episodes, first, second, and third on my channel. I have playthrough of them. So today we are playing the fourth episode. And there will be 5 in total, and the 5th one is still not out. So I'm going to play this one, and probably the 5th one is going to be out next year or this year, I'm not sure. But yeah, let's continue. Episode 4, Stomp Your Hooves in Wait.
Я сама не поверила, но Лилия Павловна на работу не вышла.
Polina, I couldn't believe it at first, but Lilia Pavlovna didn't come to work today.
Контрольная отменяется.
The test is off. I remembered Katya. She was both beautiful and mean. Katya, the first girl in our class whose body started maturing, to the envy of all the other female students. The main source of gossip, a snake and a bitch. I continued scribbling in my notebook, drawing rows of pines and 2 small figures flying between the treetops and the full moon. Shivers ran up to my shoulders, sneaking playfully under the hem of my shirt. Even though soaring through the sky felt so simple, there was still something evil weighing me down. The culprit was definitely still in the village. They were hiding something horrible under a mask of piousness.
А что ты рисуешь?
What are you drawing? Embarrassed, I covered the notebook as if there was something shameful about the figures above the forest.
Да ничего. Так,
Nothing really, just fooling around. Polina put her elbows on the desk. I had already forgotten how light and graceful she was, just like a violin. The anger and rage that boiled inside me yesterday during our phone call subsided, hid in a hole. I just couldn't stay mad at Polina. I wish she could also jump around with us, after stripping away her mask of fake mundanity. I smiled, imagining Polina's skirt flapping in the wind, the stars sparkling all around us, her asking in bewilderment whether it is all a dream, and myself telling her that it doesn't matter. Polina's expression grew dark again.
Ужасно еще и то, что Катю мне жалеть сложно.
It's also tragic that I find it difficult to empathize with her.
Я правда ищу
I
в
tried
себе
so hard,
сострадание,
but then I
но
remembered
поступки-
all her nasty deeds and... Polina shook her head.
Я чудовище.
I'm a monster, aren't I? No, I thought. You are one of the most beautiful girls I've ever met, but alas, you are only number 2 on that list. Number 2? Didn't we choose Polina over Alisa in the previous choices? I thought it would influence. Okay. I decided not to say that out loud. Well, good decision.
Плохо, наверное, что исчезновение анкеты расстроило меня больше, чем пропажа одноклассницы.
It's not okay that I felt worse when I lost my questionnaire than when she went missing. My nostrils picked up the smell of candy, tree raisin, and fireworks.
Ты потеряла анкету?
You lost your questionnaire?
Да.
Yes,
И кто-то
somebody
сейчас
out there
читает
is
твои
reading other people's secrets now. Yes, the forest, I thought, imagining the crooked branches turning notebook pages, touching the childish handwriting with their icy twigs.
Надеюсь, ее.
I hope the search goes well. I wasn't sure whether she spoke about Katya or her notebook. I I wanted to ask her about it, but then I noticed Polina's intense stare directed at me.
Что?
What?
Ты будто
You've
изменился.
changed. I smoothed my hair flat, surprised.
Просто не
I just didn't sleep well tonight.
Сегодня ты
You're a
точно
different
какая-то
melody
другая
today.
мелодия.
Some mysterious,
Очень древняя,
ancient tune.
таинственная.
I thought about the flute's melody, streaming between the bushy treetops.
Надеюсь, ты
I
никому
hope you
не
haven't
рассказал
told
про наш
anyone about
вчерашний
our
разговор?
chat yesterday.
Что
Of
ты?
course not. She nodded as if acknowledging that she can fully trust me. I wasn't sure whether I merited such trust. Her hair cascaded down around her shoulders. The smell was so wonderful that it sent me flying toward the glowing stars of my inner cosmos without any magic. Biasha jumped at me like that Jack-in-the-Box toy and yelled in my ear, "Look here! Having a lovey-dovey time, eh? Hey, Four Eyes, are you trying to pick up Polina?" Polina came to my help, even though I didn't ask her to. Or maybe I did, with my entire appearance.
Что за глупости?
What's with this
Мы просто
nonsense?
друзья.
We are just friends. I wonder if it would be different if I managed to perform better in the scene when the guys were attacking the main character in the forest.
Твоя подружка, значит?
Is he your
Ходишь
girlfriend
вместе за
then?
платьями.
Do you go to buy dresses together? With this fag?
Никакой он не пи.
He's not a fag.
Вообще, отвянь от
Leave
Петрова.
Petrov alone. I needed to do something, but I just sat there, clutching the edge of my desk. Romka gave me a deriding snort. A
Баба
girl
тебя
saved you,
спасла.
ugly face. I'll let you leave, for now. My enemies left the classroom, guffawing. Yeah, I think they could become friends if we did other choices in the forest, but I actually don't want to be friends with these bullies, so I'm happy how it turned out. Not good for the main character, but... Polina showed me a sad smile.
Будь сильным.
Be strong. I wanted to scream that I couldn't. I couldn't be strong and stand up against these bastards. I couldn't stand up for myself or anyone else. I'm pathetic. I want to disappear into the forest, dig myself into the snow. I want to go home, get under my blanket, far away from humans. Polina left, and the thoughts that were terrorizing me finally made me weep. I stayed late after school again to escape Romka's ire for my rash act of talking to Polina, which meant I had to drag my feet toward home in the twilight. A bored school janitor scraped his shovel against the asphalt, and the upperclassman blew out smoke that formed clouds similar to dialogue bubbles in comics. I wanted to fill those bubbles with friendly words, but there was nothing friendly about the icy stares those guys gave me. I was living the unpleasant world of stale buns and nasty insults. Someone showed me near the stairs. Didn't their parents teach them to apologize? I crossed the village and slowed my pace near the bridge. I turned my head around, looking for my fox friend, but neither she nor my other new friends could be seen anywhere. I was met with the silent forest. It felt like a crouching predator, pretending to be asleep. It still watched me with one eye, from under half-closed eyelids, and I walked through it, my fingers gripping the backpack's straps, looking at my feet through a pair of glasses. Katya! Katya! Once again, Black shadows flashed among the naked trees, shouting the name of a girl who was most likely already dead, over and over. The sunset fizzled over the pine tops, like a flame from a gas burner set to a minimum. I walked forward, trying to hide my head in my shoulders, avoiding the sight of the crooked trees. The house was a dark stain on the white snowy blanket. The front door was open and swayed slightly in the wind. It felt like my skin was getting covered in rime. I clenched my fists. Darkness oozed into the hallway, and snowflakes floated inside along with it, landing softly on the rug. Like a pack of vultures that sense their food. I stepped into the doorway with the utmost caution. For a moment, I thought I heard someone talking in the kitchen, but it turned out to be a radio broadcast. The previously mentioned cyclone is getting even closer to the region. The official forecast for tomorrow suggests gusts of wind reaching up to 70 kilometers per hour. Meerkatt of Russia has called on citizens to exercise extreme caution. The roads are closed off. The cold air streams coming from Arctic are bringing massive blizzards. I heard voices coming from the upper floor too. The staircase let out a long squeak. I took one step, yet my heart managed to beat 6 or 7 times in the meantime. The door to my parents' bedroom was ajar. A shadow play unfolded inside the light spot. Black silhouettes were performing a dance of hatred. Mom hissed at Dad, her wrists flying toward the ceiling, and he towered over her, his hands crossed on his huge chest.
Мы все в опасности. И все из-за тебя.
We are all in danger, and it's your fault.
И не ври, ты видела его
And
в поселке.
stop lying, you saw him in the village.
Он выглядит
He found out where we live. It wasn't him.
Я читала,
I've read about the things your bodies are capable of in the newspapers. I ran toward my bedroom. My parents were in the middle of another quarrel where they showered each other with mutual accusations. Dad let out a low, beast-like roar. Make them stop! Oля stood in the corridor, pressing her little palms against her ears. Her face, swollen from crying, made my skin freeze.
что случилось?
What happened? They're going to divorce! I hugged my sister and held her tight. My tongue refused to listen to my commands, to look for excuses. It felt like the screams were coming from every direction, right and left, up and down, splitting my head apart. Swear words rained down on us, so we covered our heads with our hands, like refugees running from a bombing. I want to escape.
Свою комнату.
To your room? No, far away.
Дальше!
Lead me to Neverland, you promised. I carefully unglued Ola's hands from her ears and led her away from the room with our parents, which was vibrating with malice.
Из-за тебя.
Your fault! For whom? Your own, and only your own. I would never. In moments like these, I despise them more than they despised each other. I bolted down the door to my room and leaned against it. My knees gave way.
Послушай,
Look, Оля,
мне тоже
I
здесь
also
плохо.
hate it here. At least you can go to school. I let out a sad laugh.
Эта школа
That
кошмар.
school is one big nightmare. Everybody hates me.
Только одна
There
девочка
is only
надо мной
this one
смеется.
girl who isn't making fun of me.
побитого пса.
She takes pity on me instead, like I'm a beaten dog. You are not a dog. You...
Я не понимаю,
I don't
кто
know
я.
who I am anymore.
Но там, снаружи,
But the outside
ничем не
world
лучше,
is
чем в доме.
clearly no better than our home. Do you know a better place? Let's go there. We'll fly or swim.
Если
If
б можно
only we
было,
could do that.
я бы всё
I
на
would have
свете отдал,
sacrificed
чтобы уйти и
everything to
забрать тебя
escape
с
and
собой.
take you with me. Ola's upper lip trembled. Swear! I put on a bitter smile.
Чтоб не
On my
умереть.
own life. Something hit the window ledge on the outside. Ola shuddered and shifted her gaze toward it. Bam! Another snowball smacked into the window's frame. Were you expecting someone? I didn't reply. Instead, I let go of her wrist. Ola wept in fear. I crossed the room, wincing from every shout coming from my parents. I could hear plates getting smashed now. They must have moved their argument to the kitchen. I flung the curtains and the window open. That's cute. Hooty, Teddy, Wolfie, and most importantly, the charming Alisa stood outside, waving at us. Olia gasped in surprise when she saw the owl girl. See, I told you!
Да, знаю,
Yeah, I
я
know.
всегда
I always believed you. Who are they? Her fearful voice also had some curiosity mixed in. Only the most boring children sit at home in weather like this. We still have so many games to play, Hoot. But let's not play all of them. My paw hurts. We play a little, then rest. Fragrance. Come on, come out to play and dance. My heart started beating faster as soon as I saw Alisa, and my inner voice practically screamed, "She's here! She's finally here!" Do they know the way to Neverland? I entertained that possibility, looking at the animal kids.
Может быть.
Maybe.
Пойдем узнаем.
Let's go find out. The silhouettes of my forest friends promised to free us from sadness, anger, and nightly horrors. I made sure that Ola wore warm clothes. Mom barked at Dad like a wild beast from that show with Nikolai Drozdov. Nikolai Drozdov, a Soviet and Russian zoologist, traveler, popular science advocate, and TV host featured in the Inside the Animal Kingdom program. He is famous for his infectious optimism and overwhelmingly empathetic attitude toward animals. We sneaked past the rumbling kitchen and into the snowfall outside. Alisa ran up to me and hugged me tight, poking her cold nose into my neck. You took so long. We almost got old waiting for you shut-ins. She pressed her body into me even harder. Turns out, waiting is so tiring. Phew, give me a minute to catch my breath. I was preparing to leave for a long time once. Hoot hoot. And when I was done, I forgot where I was supposed to go. Olia looked at the owl with suspicion. But she still giggled when the bird did a backflip and landed perfectly on her feet, without staggering. All the other animals, as if on cue, stopped fooling around and stared at Oля in amazement. That's the girl who didn't want to become friends. My name is Oля. I was afraid of you before. You know, I was thinking that this all is happening because Anton is drinking some pills. So maybe he has like schizophrenia. But since Ola is seeing them as well, then maybe it is really supernatural. Were you afraid of our Hootie? Maybe she has owl phobia. Can you cure that? It doesn't matter as long as she's not afraid of having fun. Or she might get scared to death with us. Ha 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 ha. I was stunned at the realization that my lips were slowly forming a smile. Every time I met Alisa, it felt like I crossed a river, and the sound of flowing water suppressed all of my negative thoughts. Your costumes are so pretty! The fox girl let go of me and squatted beside Ola. My, what a cutie! Why did you hide such a cute creature from us before? But didn't Alisa try to take Ola to the forest? Or was it a fake? I don't remember actually. I glanced at the house, worried that our parents might have seen us and were about to ruin our fun, like they always do. Then hugged my sister and replied, "Let's get further away from here." Sure thing! Hey, Ola, do you know how to find Grandpa Frost in our forest? Grandpa Frost, Ded Moroz. A legendary figure similar to Santa Claus, hailing from Slavic mythology. He is often depicted wearing a heel-length fur coat in red or blue, a semi-round fur hat, and a pair of Russian traditional winter footwear. Maybe pair? Okay. Valenki. His face is adorned by a long white beard, and he walks with a long magic stick. He's said to bring presents to well-behaving children on the New Year's Eve. My little sister's eyes widened. How? You need to follow the sweet trail. Suspicious. Alisa bent down and took a candy out of the snow. Ola raised her hands in amazement. She gave me an inquiring look. I nodded. My sister munched on the candy. Wait, do we, Hoot Hoot, have Grandpa Frost in our forest? Why, Hoot Hoot, didn't you tell me? I did, this afternoon. But I sleep during the day. Right, I told you while you were sleeping. Alisa dashed away, wiggling her red tail like a torch's flame. Ola went after her without thinking and laughed after taking another candy out of a snow pile. You are so lively, it makes me sick to the stomach. And you stop being so passive. Run with us to Grandpa Frost, while there are still presents left. No way. I won't believe the fox tales unless 10 pounds of sweets drop on my head right now. When the aforementioned sweets started raining down on the bear's head, I couldn't stop myself from laughing at him ouching and bobbing his head up and down. Tasty treats glistened in the snow. Teddy sneezed and pulled a little bear in the north candy out of his ear. I'd take an hour-long nap and then count all these chocolates. I suspect there are no more than 3 pounds here. Alisa shouted at us from the other side of the forest. Maybe in another life. Hurry up! Grandpa Frost is already tired of waiting for you in his castle. I shrugged and ran. Running loosened the grip of fear I felt all this time. Something round whizzed past my temple. I decided it was a snowball, but then Oля proclaimed, Zephyr! Zephyr, a type of soft confectionery popular in post-Soviet countries. It's made by whipping fruit and berry puree with sugar and egg whites with subsequent addition of a gelling agent. Its chocolate-coated variant shares the same family of treats with American Mellow Mars, German Schokokuss, and Iranian Bastani Zemestani. Don't pick it up, it's dirty. Huh? Do you believe in microbes? And you don't? I used to. Graceful rows of colossal pines greeted us with their rustling paws. Snow drifted upward into the endless black sky, just like last time. Snow piles lighted up like melted silver. So pretty, and I thought the forest was scary. Parents told us scary stories of the forest, owl and snow. But we weren't one bit worried, playing with her when moon glows. I did my best to keep track of Ola's movement, but it was a difficult task. My sister would jump inside bushes, picking up more candy, only to then get back to the trail, laughing. Hootie flew over our heads, landed on a branch, and started hooting and shaking her head. Wolfie dug into the snow with his face, dragged out a pile of bubble gum, and swallowed it without taking off the wrapping. Your tummy will hurt! The wolf got scared and spat out the gumball. Lice, 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 nasty flies. Tummy aches don't exist. All that nonsense only happens to grown-ups. Alisa stopped in her tracks and moved a canopy of intertwined branches to the side in a pompous manner, like you would open the curtains in theater. Oh, she looks so happy. Oh, behind that obstacle lay a clearing. There stood an ice castle, glistening with silver. Is this real? Should I pinch you? There is no need to pinch her. We stared at the sparkling miracle. Its towers and walls were made out of snow and icy marble. I heard the calming sound of ringing little bells. There was also the smell of chocolate and burnt sugar in the air. Welcome to our humble abode. Come on in. She didn't have to invite us twice. We entered the castle, spinning around and squinting from the blinding sparkles. Oh. Grandpa Frost sat atop a shiny throne. Puffy pom-poms swung atop the 2 peaks of his hat. A snow-white beard covered his kind smile. He looks more like a jester than a Grandpa Frost. He looked just like I imagined him back in the day when I still believed in Mom's fairy tales. Tall, strong, and hairy, radiating frost and warmth at the same time. And his voice, low and syrupy, enveloped me like the smoke of a festive bonfire. Anton and Olga. You probably got tired while getting here, my dear children. Oh no, Grandpa, we got here really fast. My sister spoke with the castle's master like she never spoke with adults, in a lively, carefree manner, as if they were the same age. Of course, I know all about it. I have a lot of friends. They tell me everything. If you are diligent all year, I will bring you gifts, my dear. If you are lazy and upset, please forgive this kind old man. Candy won't encounter lazy bones and downers. I'm not lazy. These two, I know. He gave us a long, evaluating look. His real face was hidden under the Grandpa Frost mask. I was just standing there, unblinking, my gaze glued to the old man. I could accept children living in the forest and fantastical jumps toward the moon, but seeing Grandpa Frost in his frozen castle left me completely speechless. I have something special for you too. A sack appeared in his giant hand. My nostrils got attacked by the aroma of cocoa, halva, and tangerines. Halva, a confectionery that originated from Persia, usually consisting of a thick paste made from flour, butter, liquid oil, saffron, rosewater, milk, cocoa powder, and sweetened with sugar. Thank you, but we've already eaten some candy. Grandpa Frost pierced me with his eyes. Ha ha ha! You call that candy? That was nothing. My candy is special, straight from Neverland. Ha ha ha! From Neverland? I'd give them to you right away. You clearly deserve them. But rules are rules. You need to solve 3 of Grandpa's riddles. Want to try? I tried splitting my parched lips apart, but Oля was the first to reply. Yeah! Here comes the first one. It's a home for cars and all sorts of tires. I looked around at the masked children. They stood without moving in the corners, but their shadows danced on the walls. I heard a low hum, and in my confusion I thought it was the sound of their rumbling stomachs. A garage! Correct. I thought I would have to choose. Now, on to the second one. You try to solve it too, Anton. Maybe now I need to select. All day long, to the shadows they belong. They rattle the plates and hiss at their mates. What? My eyebrows shot up in confusion.
Mama?
Moms? Oля raised her hand. Can I? It's a kitty. Correct, ho ho ho. Here's the last one. Solve it and the gifts are yours. Oh, but what a stroke of bad luck, my dear children. I completely forgot what that riddle was about. Maybe our little animal friends can help us. Children in costumes surrounded us, laughing and stomping, only to start spinning in a crazed round delay. That somewhat reminded me of the dance under my window on that fateful night. Grandpa Frost sits on his throne. At the kids, he's smiling back. Please, don't make them wait too long. Come and open your old sack! Grandpa Frost burst out laughing, satisfied. Okay, you proved yourself to this old man. Here you go. He scattered a mountain of sweets from his scarlet sack, some of which I had never even seen in commercials before. Bubblegum of all shapes and colors with tasty aromas and inserts sticking out. Lollipops the size of a fist and tangerines the size of Olia's head. And also Snickers, Mars, Bounty bars and Kinder Surprise eggs that we haven't eaten for so long already. Wow, thank you! I wiped away the tears of joy with my sleeve when my inner voice persuaded me to get rid of all doubts. This is exactly what I wanted for my sister and myself. The true Neverland, without bullying and taboos. We are finally going to be happy. Grandpa Frost straightened up as he left his throne and threw his hands in the air over the treats. Animals that stood to his sides also raised their paws. Their eyes sparkled brighter than precious gems. The wolf's maw was wet with saliva. Feast, my children! Animal kids rushed to devour candy one by one, pushing each other and growling. Their faces were smeared with something dark. But weren't these candies for Olia and Anton? Olia grabbed the closest candy and tore off the wrapper. No choices? I fished out the most tasty-looking candy from the pile of sweets on the floor. Then took a bite. Milk chocolate melted in my mouth. I applaud your bold decision. Now it's time for you to play. I will grant your deepest wishes. Let me lighten up your day. Anton, look! Wow, it's so cool to see her in color. My sister's face was smeared in chocolate and I was about to reprimand her. But words got stuck in my throat. A giant spruce shot toward the stars and disappeared somewhere in outer space, crowned by a giant moon. Giant balls shined on its branches. Garlands of lights gleamed with all the colors of the rainbow. The roof disappeared and myriads of constellations sprawled on the night sky above us. Where? I guess this. Music, laughter, the smell of evergreen and sweets. And Teddy, Wolfie and Hootie dancing beside us. And the snowflakes floating backward. I burst out laughing, touched the bushy golden tinsel. It was all real. Is that it?
Вы тут не про Небылянди?
Are you talking about Neverland by any chance? Is this Neverland? Alisa performed a theatric bow. Christmas balls gleamed and shimmered, and my soul shimmered in unison with them. I was becoming the magic winter forest, the soft evergreen, all of the constellations at the same time.
Добро
Welcome home.
домой.
This is where my home always was. The snow sparkled, almost blinding me. Oля started spinning in a dance. She grabbed the candy with each of her hands. Wolfie juggled Kinder Surprise eggs. Did you see that? Consoles, handheld games, dolls, and Transformer figures lay under the spruce as if they were brought here by trucks. Is this for us? I realized I was also dancing, so I replied while moving.
Многовато для нас.
It's a bit too much for just the two of us. I'd share it with somebody. And what do you think? Only if it's somebody nice.
Если с кем-то хорош.
A group of children stood at the edge of the woods, their enchanted gazes directed at our celebration. Hey! I jumped across the whole clearing and glided to the ground near them. Wanna come to us? Can we? These two look the same. Of course. The kids took each other by the hand. I led their procession toward the gifts. Is this all an illusion? What do you think? There was no better feeling than leading someone on the road to their dreams. The holiday party was finally in full swing. In every holiday, just like in a beautiful apple, always sat a nasty little worm called transience. Yet here, under the bristly paws of a magnificent spruce, holidays never ended. Are you happy, Tosha? I am. Up in the sky, majestic fireworks went off, illuminating the dancing figures. My eyes wetted, my muscles sprung up. I tilted my head backward to look at the moon and screamed at the top of my lungs from overflowing emotion. Are you happy, Bunny? I jumped toward the stars and did a flip. All of Neverland could hear my scream. I am happy! For the first time in the long days I'd spent in the new house, I woke up with a smile on my face. This time, happiness had a tight grip on me. I stretched, enjoying the sweet sensation with every cell of my body. Outside, I could hear the joyful chirping of beautiful red-chested bullfinches, who celebrated the bright January sun. Their chirping granted me hope that the naked forest outside my window would someday turn into a lush paradise for my parents and my little sister. The corridor was filled with dog barks and the patter of tiny feet. The door to my bedroom flew open, greeting me with a warm breeze and the aroma of freshly made coffee. Ola stood in the doorway, shining with happiness, holding the cute Julka who wiggled both her body and her tail. Look, Tosha, look! Papa said she can stay. Aww, I hope nothing bad will happen to her. Tears of joy formed in my little sister's eyes. I have my own dog now! I couldn't help but jump up from bed upon hearing this wonderful news.
Да ведь это же Жулька.
That's Жулька! Жулька! No! Her name is Princess. Right, Your Highness? The dog barked in agreement.
Тук-тук.
Knock, knock.
Можно к вам?
Can I come in? To my complete surprise, Dad stepped through the doorway, smiling and hugging Mom, which was outright bizarre.
Как тебе пополнение?
What do you think of our new family member?
Мне эта
This
дуреха под
idiot
колеса бросилась.
threw herself under my car. I barely avoided her.
Машину
I
поцарапал.
got my
Думал,
car
голыми
scratched.
руками удавлю.
Thought I'd choke her with my own 2 hands.
А заглянул ей в глаза.
Then I looked her in the
Они
eye,
такие,
and
как
there I
бы сказать,
saw, how should I put it? Intelligence.
Во!
Yeah.
А сама дрожит вся.
And the poor thing was shaking all over.
Ну,
And then I
говорю,
said,
ладно,
all
доедешь со
right,
мной до дома
if you
и
manage to
сиденье
make
не
it home
обтянешь,
without
тогда
soiling my
оставайся.
seats, I'll let you stay.
Принцессы не гадят.
Princesses can't soil anything. We laughed in unison, just like in the good old days when every little thing could easily make us burst out laughing.
Чего замолчал?
Well,
Давай, продолжай.
why did you stop? Continue with your stories. Mom gave Dad a cunning look and he turned away, red as a beet. They were acting like total kids.
А еще из хороших
There's
новостей.
more good
Ваш
news.
папа получил повышение.
Your dad got a promotion.
Грешно,
I
конечно,
shouldn't
радоваться,
exactly
ведь
be
старший
happy about
бухгалтер
it,
пропал всё-таки.
since the chief accountant went missing and all.
Но,
But,
как говорится,
you know,
нет худа без
for us
добра.
it's a silver lining.
Это значит, тебя чаще не будет дома?
Does that mean you'll be away from home more?
Это значит
That means
двойной надбавки
double
плюс
the
премии.
bonuses.
Правильно,
That's
Карина.
right, Karina.
Так что
Which means
готовьтесь.
you
На
all
следующей
should prepare
неделе
for a
нас
family
всех
trip
ждет
next week.
семейное путешествие.
My heart started beating faster after those words.
Куда?
Where? Ola even loosened her grip on the stray. Oh, are we going to McDonald's?
Скажешь тоже.
Come on, Ola.
Бери выше.
Aim
Мы давно
higher.
уже
We've
планировали
been
эту
planning
поездку,
this trip
да
for a long
всё не
time,
получалось.
but something always messed it up.
Вы уж простите
We are
нас,
so
ребят.
sorry about that, kids. Mom wiped away a tear with her fist.
Да ладно
It's
тебе,
okay,
Карина.
Karina.
Всё в прошлом.
Now it's all in the past.
В общем,
Anyway,
собирайте
gather your
чемоданы,
things.
летим
We are
в
flying to
Диснейленд.
Disneyland. My sister and I jumped up to the ceiling with joy. The dog also got excited from that passionate speech and joined us. Hooray! But what about dog? Are they taking it with them? Disneyland! Disneyland! I have a feeling that they will not go to any Disneyland. Our jubilant screams filled the house, rushed through the attic and the drain pipes, flew across the front yard, and sneaked into the shining white forest, taking the scary D word away with it. I swore that I'll remember this day forever, the day when my parents finally dropped their derisive masks and underneath them were the faces of parents we always knew and loved. Lilia Pavlovna still hadn't returned to school after Katya went missing, so today I was able to get a good night's sleep and went to school when it was already bright outside. The trail led to a snow-white plain with blackened houses in the background. They pumped out gray smoke that carried the smell of birch and pine logs. The freezing cold of the night had finally let up. It fell into slumber under the early sunlight. Ice sparkles appeared on the white caps atop the houses. I stopped, confident that nobody could spoil my good mood today. Not even my personal tormentor, Pyatiffanov, or his nasty crony, Byasha. Not even the shiny knife that threatened to cut me up like a dead fish. Not even the mix of disdain and pity in Polina's rare glances. All of that was left in the past, forgotten like a bad dream. All of that was gone forever. A cow let out a long moo somewhere in the distance. I fell out of my fleeting daydream and walked forward, crunching with a snow blanket under my soles. Fluffy clouds floated above my head. I recognized the friendly shapes of animal kids in them. Suddenly, a snowball landed on the back of my head. Girlish laughter that reminded me of a small ringing bell in the spring breeze tickled my ears. I turned around, expecting to see her, my lovely guide into the dream world, my dear Alisa. Yet instead of a fox girl, Polina stood on the trodden path behind me, with her faithful violin case in hand.
Опять Петров ворон считает?
Got your head in the clouds again, huh, Petrov? She lunged at me with contagious laughter, locking her arms around my neck. I just stood there in awe, drowning in the sweet aroma of her perfume. Did something happen? She flashed me an embarrassed smile. I saw her cornflower-colored eyes gleam.
Дедушка
My grandpa, he
он снова может ходить.
He can walk again.
представляешь?
Can you believe it? The local doctor had no faith in him, but it's like he stood up and started walking just to spite him.
О, это
Oh,
самый счастливый день
this
в
is
моей
the
жизни,
happiest
Антон!
day of my life, Anton. She dug her face deep into my chest, tightened her grip on my neck as if I was more than just a friend to her. I stared, maybe I started? Stared? I started looking around, anxious.
Полина,
Polina,
нас могут видеть.
somebody could see us.
Из-за
Are you
Пятифанова
worried about
беспокоишься?
Pyatiffanov?
Брось ты это дело.
Then you are
Его
worried for
извини
nothing. He has not been seen for a while. I cautiously parted with Polina, trying to understand whether it was some sort of prank or the truth.
просто. Ну ты чего, не
Wait,
веришь, что ли?
you don't believe me?
К нам вчера
That
буквально ночью
officer,
старший
Lieutenant
Тихонов
Tikhonov,
приезжал.
came to our house just last night.
Так и так, Бяша потерялся, а вместе с ним и дружок его Ромка.
He said that Byasha, along with his buddy Romka, went missing. A group of skiers glided past us straight into the forest. Polina leaned into my ear, sharing her whisper with me, her eyes still locked on the skiers.
Как я поняла, во всех этих исчезновениях Тихонов подозревает Пятифанова.
As far as I know, Tikhonov suspects that all the previous cases were Pyatiffanov's fault. How's that? And why would he target not Anton, for example?
Да ладно.
No way.
Я сама
I
в
was
шоке.
shocked myself.
По слухам, у Ромки
There are rumors that Romka,
совсем
well,
шарики за ролики заехали.
went off the deep end.
Да я, в
I
принципе,
mean,
и не удивлена.
I'm not exactly surprised to hear that.
Что ты имеешь?
What do you mean?
А ты не знаешь?
Haven't you heard?
Он из проблемной
He's
семьи.
from a very troubled family.
Даже думать не
I
хочу,
don't
что
even
творилось
want
у
to
них дома.
imagine what had been going on in their home. Romka always seemed excessively aggressive to me, always angry at everyone without a good reason. Now, the darkness that he harbored within overflowed into the outside world and led multiple small innocent souls to their demise, as well as his own. It was hard to believe, but the first time I laid my eyes on Romka, I thought that things would end this way.
Пойдем скорее,
Let's
а то
move,
опоздаем.
or we are gonna be late. I feel like at some point soon, all this happiness will end. And something horrible is going to happen. Paulina grabbed my hand and started running along the village road, accompanied by joyful laughter. With every step, every laugh, and every joke, the warmth I thought I'd forgotten enveloped my heart more and more. The all-consuming feeling of falling in love came back to me, this time for good, it seemed. I tried letting go of Paulina's hand near the classroom entrance, embarrassed that our classmates might taunt us. But it was as if Paulina didn't care at all. She only gripped my palm even harder while opening the door. And she was right. Now that the cunning Katya, the heartless Romka, and the sneering Biasha were gone, our class looked as if it was sanitized from parasites. It became friendlier and kinder. I didn't get looks overflowing with hatred anymore. There was nobody to spit a ball of chewed paper at me through an empty shell of a ball pen. I sat at my lonely desk when Paulina joined me. I wasn't surprised at all. She was so charming that I could call her my muse. A wave of inspiration hit me, and I couldn't help but pull my sketchbook out of my bag. I licked the pencil lead, my eyes glued to my model. She smiled at me again.
Что ты задумал?
What's on your mind?
Спокойствие.
No
Работает
worries.
профессионал.
A professional at work here. Now he will start drawing her and ended up drawing Alisa, right? I drafted the shapes of her mesmerizing figure.
Знаешь,
You
я
know,
часто наблюдал за
I've
тобой.
watched you from here often. Maybe he should have not said that. She glanced at her former desk, then fixed a strand of hair behind her ear in embarrassment.
Правда?
Really? I outlined her cute cheeks with multiple wide lines. It was the first time I was able to grasp somebody's proportions so precisely.
Полина,
Paulina.
Что?
Yes, Anton?
Антон?
She froze in place, afraid of disrupting my work with one wrong move and dispelling the magic of the moment.
наклонись, пожалуйста, сюда.
Lean here a bit more, please.
Вот так, да.
Yes,
хорошо.
like this. Good. Choking from anxiousness, Paulina loosened the knot on her neckerchief.
Я всегда хотел
I
тебя.
always wanted to draw you. Our eyes met. Oh, Anton! My pencil slid across the paper furiously, adding the shading to her chest.
Скажи,
Say, would you like to become the main heroine in my comic? Pleasant shivers ran across her body. She rolled her eyes back, enraptured. Yes, yes! I've been waiting for you to ask, darling. This is too much. I feel like he is still sleeping. He will wake up and everything will be even more horrible than it is. I don't believe that it's like that. The lead couldn't endure all of the tension and cracked, bursting into a million tiny pieces. I couldn't... I got an achievement. You became a monster. I couldn't believe my eyes when I looked at the drawing. I was looking at a terrible daub. In the place where Paulina's face was just a second ago, now rested some sort of formless mess. It took me some time to realize that I was sitting alone in an empty classroom. with only the specks of dust flying in the moonlight as my company. It was dark outside. My classmates, Polina, the feeling of euphoria, all of them were gone. Somebody wrote down a nursery rhyme on the blackboard with a piece of chalk, but some of the words were wiped out and I could only read bits and pieces. 1, 2, bunny, meat. I was no longer smirking like an idiot. I stood up, pinched myself on the wrist. A ringing silence engulfed me. There was a taste of vomit in my mouth, and my ears buzzed like from an endless scream, full of despair and horror. Yeah, maybe he's taking some drugs, and he doesn't really understand that. And this is like a withdrawal, and he came to school alone. I don't know.
Эй, кто-нибудь!
Hey, is there anybody out here? Or is it just still a nightmare continuing because school doesn't look like that? Shadows swarmed in the corridor. I walked past boarded up classrooms, past the rotten spots on the walls and silvery cobwebs. Spiders crawled under the ceiling. Lamps flickered anxiously. I stopped before the notice board, stunned. Hundreds of new photos were added to those of Simeon and Katya. Black and white printouts were glued on top of each other. The horrific collage of childish faces stared at me with empty eye sockets. Unable to endure the torturing stares of those watchful, gaping holes, I ran out of the school. I crossed the front yard and reached the road where the wind was whipping up powdery snow. No people, no cars, no birds. Low clouds got stuck on chimneys. Windows that looked like they were painted over with ink. Photos of missing people enveloped lampposts and fences like paper skin. Mostly kids, but some adults too. It felt like all the people who once lived in this village now became black and white ghosts in the photos with a person missing label. I dragged my feet forward along the dead street. Some houses had their windows smashed. The wind made itself at home there, wandering the rooms. Every gust made the front doors swing. Kids' coats hung from the fences. Their sleeves moved, stretched out toward me. An empty village, an empty husk. What happened here? An overthrown waste bin rumbled across the back alley. Something flashed inside the window frames of the charred village store. I ran away from its sooty facade. Then heard a guttural roar coming from the well. I started walking faster, trying not to pay any mind to the darkness inside the front yards, inside the bloodied dog houses, inside the crooked shacks. The moon appeared from under the clouds. Something flew over my head in this draining silence, as if a crop duster flew from one roof to another. A huge shadow loomed over me. I rushed to the right, hoping that I wasn't noticed. A small greenhouse in front of me was my shelter. He should have just gone home. I pushed the gate, crouched and scampered toward the porch. I tugged at the doorknob. The front door was open. A wheelchair rolled out of the darkness, almost hitting me, tumbled down the stairs, clanging with its wheels, and stopped near an apple tree. I followed it with round eyes, then turned my gaze inside the house again. The corridor was obscured by the dark. Empty frames on the walls, glass shards on the floor.
Есть тут кто?
Is there anybody here? I heard growling in reply. Oh, that was really loud. From around the corner at the end of the corridor, a furry paw appeared, and after it, a scary beast face with a pair of burning eyes. A huge, overweight beast crawled out on its belly, writhing like a snake. It could barely fit inside the corridor's mouth. It squeezed forward, clawing at the floorboards. Its mouth clanged like a bear trap, inches away from my face. The beast got stuck. It banged its paws on the walls, spitting saliva in every direction. I turned around. I needed to get the hell out of this nightmare. A hunchback owl, bigger than an average human, landed near the front gate and stood in my way. Its beak kept on clicking. A snow pile bulged nearby, and something reminiscent of a giant shrew crawled to the outside. I fell to my knees, as if praying to these eldritch creatures. A figure draped in a dirty fox scalp crawled out of a dark hole, smiling with all its teeth. Did I do the wrong choices so it turned out like that? Its tail dragged after it, just a piece of vertebrae laced in torn sinews. The creatures' bodies became extremely distorted, and I decided I was going insane. Only now, they seemed small to me one moment, as small as a child, only to stretch higher than any of the desolate houses the next. Man-eating creatures towered over me. Something kept on writhing in their stomachs, as if looking for a way out. The longer they stared at me, the wider their twisted smiles, their death masks became. We had such a long feast. The mutilated fox taxidermy mount licked its lips. Its tongue looked like a black centipede, longer than my forearm. The nasty insect ran between the razor-sharp teeth and dropped into the bottomless pit that could swallow the whole world. Hoot hoot, sweet meat, juicy meat. We devour it and we won't stop. Ha 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 ha. There was nothing human about their speech. It was all just animalistic growls and bird-like wheezes. But I was able to understand every word as if we were speaking the same language. It's a shame you couldn't catch up with us, Bunny. You couldn't bite the moon. You stole my food, traitors. You refused to eat your family, remember? but hoot hoots, pathetic meat, worthless meat. You're absolutely useless, brother. You make me sick. Shame, shame. Indescribable horror gripped me when the laughing beasts held their clawed paws toward me. Then, suddenly, the thing that pretended to be a fox started barking loudly. Fools! It's his time to bring the treats. Good for nothing. Hoot hoot, let him fulfill his mission. We'll be waiting for some meat from you tomorrow night. Or else. Or else. Or else. Or else. Or else. Or else we'll eat your entire family. The monsters formed a circle around me and started dancing. I screamed. Huge eyes, fangs, claws flashed in front of me, blurring into a string of colorful spots and smudges. 1, 2, time to play with you. 3, 4, 5, the owl will arrive. 6 on end, the wolf's great fur will stand. 7, 8, stomp your hooves in weight. A fox's face protruded from the fuzzy lights that the beastly carcasses turned into. For the fox and for the bear. Bunny, tasty meals prepare. A desperate cry, my cry, rumbled across the back streets of the desolate village. I will prepare! The circle broke up and I ran for my life. It felt like I was running into a snare trap. My head was splitting, ugly images danced inside it, colliding, falling over, getting up and dancing again. 1, 2. They flapped their wings, poked my face with their beaks and their salivating maws. 3, 4, 5. They howled and jumped around, and my eardrums were ready to pop, either from their screams or from the internal pressure that fractured my skull from within. 6. My winter hat obscured my vision, and it seemed like the whole sky tilted, like a roof that's about to collapse. 7, 8. Snow crumbled from the sky like a plaster. I ran through the empty streets, through the icy world, chased by a pack of beasts. Yet I couldn't see anybody when I turned around. I shut my eyes and hopped away from their ritual dance that went on inside my flared-up mind. I squeezed my ears with my palms to suppress the noise. I just wanted to stop my head from cracking open. The sunrise found me deep inside the forest. Thank you for completing episode 4. We are deeply grateful for everyone who purchased the game in early access. All the profits will go toward further development of the game. Oh, that's all. That was shorter. Actually, I saw that some other playthroughs on YouTube were longer. So probably I just didn't get some extra scenes. from previous choices, so I guess you could also check out some other people who played, because they may get different outcome, I think. So yeah, so now we are waiting for the episode 5, and thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.